Thank you for staying with us. Property developers and residents in Sabon, Lugbe, Southwest District Layout, Federal Capital Territory have lamented what they call the continued harassment and demolition of their property by the Federal Capital Development Authority, which they say seeks to redesign and confiscate their land in the area. Recall that the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom, had ordered the demolition of all infractions in Sabon Lugbe along the airport road in Abuja. The minister also asked the Guards Brigade commander to take charge of the layout and work closely with the Commissioner of Police and other security agencies to provide adequate security to enable development control officials carry out the demolition without threats. Joining us from our Abuja studio is a lawyer, Kalu. Good morning. It's good to have you join us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me this morning.
Right. I'm certain you have been following this matter of developers and even residents in Sabon Lugbe talking about this move by the FCDA to demolish their properties and also demolishing some of their properties so far. Is there a case here for these persons?
To be honest with you, the development at Sabon Lugbe is disturbing. It's not just disturbing. It is illegal, highly illegal.
How so?
That the Minister of the FCT, Nyesom, who is a lawyer, will, by executive fiat, order that buildings should be demolished without notice, without any court order. It is highly disturbing, and the developers are ready to challenge Nyesom and the administration in court. Even as we speak now, the matter is even sub judice. That after allocating this property to the developers, after giving the developers building permits to develop the allotted areas, you came back with an executive fiat to destroy property worth hundreds of billions of naira. They will not allow this thing to slide. They will not. Let's build the foundation of this matter properly. In the FCT, you don't just go and enter into a property and start to develop the property. You must acquire the property through the legitimate process. And when the property is allotted to you, you don't just jump into the property and start to develop the property. You make an application to development control for building permits. And when you do not have the building permits, you cannot go and start developing the area. And as we speak today, all the demolished areas at Sabon Lugbe in the FCT, the developers were granted building permits by the development control, a department in the Federal Capital Development Authority, or FCTA, Federal Capital Territory Administration. And before the said department will issue you a building permit, they don't just issue it unilaterally. They liaise with other sister agencies within the FCTA, particularly the urban and regional planning, that has all the details of all the allottees of land in this FCT. It is only when they respond to the inquiries of the Department of the Development Control that the Development Control will not know that the applicant is actually the allottee of the property he intends to develop before they issue the building permit. And they have this building permit well issued, duly issued by the Development Control. And the minister woke up and ordered that those property should be demolished. My sister, I was there. I saw it firsthand. How bulldozers, caterpillars, were bringing down buildings that were already standing, buildings that people were already occupying. No notice given to them, no court order. In this generation, at this time, one begin to wonder, is the Honorable Minister still a lawyer? Because we know that Nelson Wike is a life bencher who knows the law, not just a layman. How can he see buildings standing, no notice, no court order that those buildings should be brought down?
But the people, the developers, if you can hear me, I need you to quickly respond to this. What was the level of engagement with the minister himself to understand that all the processes were the right and legal processes, these people went through it? Was there no channel for communication opened?
That is the issue. That is the question the minister must answer to Nigerians. Did he give the developers notice that he was about to order for the demolition of those property? He did not.
Before we ask the minister, we are asking now for the people who are the developers and the residents who say they went through the legal channels and did everything they were supposed to do. Did they try to open a line of communication with the minister himself? That's the question.
That's the question I'm answering. That the minister just ordered, no communication whatsoever, none whatsoever, that the place, Sabon Lugbe, should be demolished. No communication whatsoever, nothing. If you, the clip you played before we started this program, you saw the Honorable Minister in that place, and you heard the conversation the minister had with the developers. Will it be at that point that the minister will be asking those developers the questions he asked them? Even at that point that the minister met with those developers, couldn't the minister have arranged for a meeting where he would have sat with the developers and find out how they managed to get those allocations and how they managed to start building in those areas? The minister would have done that, but he didn't do that. He only woke up from the morning and ordered, just like a tyrant.
The developers as well could have asked for a meeting if the minister did not request for a meeting. Couldn't they have asked for a meeting themselves?
You know, when you wake up in the morning and you saw bulldozers coming to your area to demolish your place, what will you do? You will definitely reach out to the authorities concerned. They did. But they were not granted access to the Honorable Minister. Even as at the time the Honorable Minister came to the site, they had already opened discussions with the authorities, but they were not given access to meet with the minister. All they now saw was demolition of their property. Even as at that material time that the minister came, if you play the clip, the video clip again, you will hear when somebody from the background said, "We are already in court," which means they had tried all they could to get access to the minister, and they did not. And what would they do as responsible Nigerians, law-abiding Nigerians? They had to submit themselves to the authorities of the court, and the minister had been served. The office of the minister had been served. And you heard what the minister said. You heard what the minister said. So the issue at hand is even if those developers got those property illegally by an executive fiat that property should be demolished, is it the proper way to do it? Is it the proper channel to resolve the issue? When today Nigeria is faced with housing problems, billions of naira wasted by somebody's not taking the proper steps.
All right. Okay.
Lives lost in that place. As I speak to you now, many lives have lost in that place. And the information that we got, though I have not verified the information, is that the minister and his staff are planning to take that property from the developers and then reallocate that place.
Since you haven't verified,
that cannot.
So you can't give this kind of statement.
I need to bring
Mr. Agu,
I need to bring this thing.
You need to listen here now. You cannot give such kinds of statements if you haven't verified it, because there are so many people listening to us here, and we cannot be giving them the wrong information. It has its implication. Please, please. I know that there's so much going on and that you are unhappy with what is going on, but we cannot be giving out false information or unverified information as we speak. Thank you.
No, why I'm making this statement is when some people who are instigating the honorable minister or the authorities concerned in the issue of allocation of land in the FCT, let them also know that as long as this matter is sub judice, whatever they are doing in respect of that property goes to no issue. As we speak today, the matter is sub judice. That is why there are issues I will not bring to the table for discussion, so that we will not attract the wrath of the court.
We shouldn't get to a point where we begin to say things that we do not mean, and we shouldn't bring on verifiable discussions here. But my question will be, you mentioned earlier that they have been given issued building permits. Did you actually see the building permits? And was it a genuine building permit?
I saw those documents.
Okay.
And, you know, it does not lie in my hands or in my mouth to say those documents are genuine or not. That is why we are saying that the steps taken by the Honorable Minister was too hasty. When you say in the video clip you played that those developers are land grabbers, what it means is that any person that grabs what does not belong to him is a criminal. What did the Honorable Minister do in that respect? When somebody has been reasonably suspected to have committed a crime, what will you do in that instance? Is it not to commence a criminal proceedings against that person? At least to get them arrested. At least call them for a meeting where they are all in the meeting. You get the police and get them arrested and start the investigation on how they grabbed those land. But they did not. Let me even tell you, some of these developers had even paid compensation to the indigenes who were original occupants of those property. So how can a land grabber pay compensation to indigenes who were occupants of that place before he was allotted that property? Okay. That is one. Two, where were the development control when these developers started developing those areas? And some of these properties have been developed for the past 10 years, 15 years and thereabout. Just all of a sudden, you wake up in the morning and ordered that those places should be demolished. In ordinary tenancy matter, they will tell you when somebody entered into your property, not even your tenant. You don't just go and force the person out of that place. There is a procedure for you to to get the person out of your property.
All you have said, it's quite obvious that you and your clients are unhappy with the whole situation. What's the next line of action for you?
All we are asking is let the minister, who is a lawyer, not just a lawyer, a senior lawyer, let him respect the court processes served on him and stay action from that place. The matter is sub judice. There is a doctrine in law, lis pendis, that when a matter is already sub judice, that you don't do anything in respect of the subject matter. That is one. Even in the FCTA, in the FCT, High Court rules, that in the form, there is an order. There is an order on the form that take notice that all parties shall maintain status quo. Meaning that once this process is served on you, you shall maintain status quo in respect of the subject matter. And the subject matter is the property the minister had ordered that they should be demolished. Because there are some buildings that have not been demolished. There are some areas that have not been demolished. We are not telling the Honorable Minister, hold on. The matter is in court. Send your lawyers in the legal secretariat. At least I know so many of them. Let them go and defend this matter. If they win, get those developers who acquire those properties illegally and let them face the wrath of the law. Not by taking laws into your hand as the minister and say nothing will happen. In a country governed by law. That is why Section 66 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria talks about the court taking control of a situation like this. When the government and the people have issues or have a dispute, you go to court and resolve those issues, not taking the laws by your hand.
Right.
We are calling the Honorable Minister.
From the body language
on that day,
from the body language of the minister, Mr. Agu, it looks like he has made up his mind.
And that is why some people call him a tyrant. That he is going to that place. Not because
we have told you, Mr. Agu, you need to listen, please. Choice of language. You are on national TV. You might be upset, but it's important that your choice of words must not be derogatory as it is.
I responded to your question. He said, by the body language of the minister, he doesn't care. And when a public servant behaves in the manner which you referred to the Honorable Minister, that by his body language, he doesn't care. We should now say it the way it is, not by mincing words. That a man who is meant to serve me, he is meant to serve me and serve the developers, and is not listening and is not respecting to the institutions that brought him in. Then what language do we use for him other than to call it the way it is? That is just the language I called. And if you look at the scenario properly, what do you make out of this? That there are procedures which the Honorable Minister should use to resolve this.
All right.
Now,
I believe the message has been passed across, and those who are involved have taken the message, and perhaps we hope that some solution is reached at the end of the day with regards to this matter. Our time is up, unfortunately. Kalu Agu, lawyer, thank you so much for your time on the program.
Thank you so much.